Jake Paul fight. What is your reaction when you see that?
I don't really know where to go with this subject because if I say something, I'm going to get backlash.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down. Let's run it. Like, I'd be super, super down.
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah. Tell him, this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up?
Finally speaking out about the highly anticipated possible fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis. Floyd Mayweather didn't hold back in typical Mayweather fashion. The unbeaten boxing legend gave a scathing, well-thought-out response that both rejected the spectacle element Jake Paul brings and confirmed Tank Davis as one of the sport's most dangerous fighters.
Chapter 1's done tonight. Now we're moving into Chapter 2, and I'm just getting warmed up in this sport. But people hold the Tommy Fury thing against me, but what now? I just beat a former world champion, and I'm coming to avenge that loss as well with Tommy.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Floyd made it apparent with his signature swagger that although Jake Paul has done a good job of converting social media into dollar signs, facing a killer like Gervonta in the ring is a completely different animal.
Something I'm going to get backlash because, you know, no matter what I say, it's not.
Okay. So you can't
it's
say.
It's not right. But, well, basically, when you're watching boxing for free, you can have millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of views.
Yeah.
But when you're watching Floyd Mayweather, you have to pay.
It's real.
So, I mean, I did pay-per-view numbers.
The numerous interviews. Floyd Mayweather has continuously questioned Jake Paul's boxing career and voiced concerns about his capacity to compete against more experienced professional fighters. Although Paul has been successful against opponents from other combat sports, Mayweather has stated that he cannot face a real fighter, and that if he does, the outcome will not be favorable for Paul. He also emphasized that facing a professional boxer would be a significant challenge.
He told me before his goal is to fight Canelo, so that's, you know, where his mindset's at.
It get fucked up by Canelo. Oh, I'm sorry. It's TMZ.
You can curse. You can curse.
I apologize, but
no apologize about.
There's no way he get demolished.
Professional boxers weigh in real time. When Jake Paul's identity was revealed with Gervonta Tank Davis, analysts and star boxers alike responded to what it meant for boxing's integrity going forward. The responses ranged from pragmatist acceptance of the cash and attention a crossover. Fight provides too contemptuous scorn and moral worry.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You can knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you are saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
The idea that Davis would enter the ring with Paul has been denounced by some critics as absurd and a possible blemish on his reputation. A member of Essentially Sports commented, "Tank Davis moving from 135,195 is just pure insanity, calling the idea a clown move and accusing Paul of begging for a payday from the face of boxing." Tank has avoided the top lightweight contenders. According to veteran analyst Paulie Malagnagy, who questioned Tank's background and called his recent opponents cherry-picked, Shocker Stevenson, the lightweight champion, went further and said that it is disrespectful to the sport if Davis chooses a crossover show over a real unification fight. These comments imply that fans and insiders see little value and a lot of risk in Tank jeopardizing his reputation for financial gain.
Gonna cover this because there's no way they're really gonna do that, because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore.
Shocker. Stevenson has openly opposed the idea of Gervonta Tank Davis entering the ring with Paul before, first facing him, claiming that this would be unjust to both the sports integrity man and his own standing in the lightweight hierarchy. During a Fight Hub TV interview, Stevenson said, "Tank is disrespectful to the sport if he chose to fight Jake Paul over fighting with me." Shocker is upset that Davis might choose a crossover exhibition against a YouTuber rather than a legitimate unification bout, which would be a true championship clash. He has stressed that Tank calling cap on his claim to be the best is not enough. The only way to prove it is by fighting him, not someone outside the sports industry.
Didn't say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fight?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Davis's opinion of Jake Paul has evolved significantly over time. Initially, Davis dismissed Paul as a loud, attention-seeking internet personality with no place in boxing. He openly mocked Paul's early attempts at entering the sport, viewing him as a sideshow rather than a serious contender. Even as Paul began training more seriously, Davis remained skeptical. However, by late 2023, Davis acknowledged Paul's dedication, crediting his mental and physical toughness. While Davis still didn't see Paul as an elite boxer, he recognized that Paul was more than just a YouTuber in gloves. Following Davis's controversial draw with Lamont Roach, he privately suggested that a fight with Paul might be possible, signaling a shift rooted in respect for Paul's work ethic and marketability. Though aware of the weight and skill gap, Davis now sees Paul as a potential opponent, one who has earned a level of respect, if not.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
Would you look at it as a joke if someone, if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like,
yeah,
on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be able to box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
The former skeptic. The boxing community's regard for Jake Paul has significantly increased since his convincing victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The Anaheim event broke the venue's gate income record, surpassing shows including top fighters sous chef Lalacha. Jake Paul has formally declared that he is merely starting his second chapter in boxing, and this time he is going for actual boxers in the division. Paul said after fighting Andre August that he is now concentrating on the traditional boxing method, aiming directly at true pro fighters, and is moving away from crossover or MMA opponents. In a CNN interview, he stepped up his game, saying he intends to fight everyone, especially the biggest, most difficult fights where he is the underdog and can prove himself in the ring. His public appearances and conversations reflect that determination. By taking on respectable opponents to demonstrate that he belongs in the top tier of the sport, Paul hopes to transcend theatrics and genuinely create a boxing legacy.
Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in itself. So we're excited.
Throughout his boxing career, Logan Paul has continuously shown his everlasting support for his younger brother, Jake Paul. Despite Jake's unusual start into the sport and the hostility he encountered, he respects Jake's unwavering work ethic and his capacity to defy expectations. In the ring, Logan thinks Jake has an outstanding 11-1 record because of his commitment and tactical approach. Logan frequently emphasizes Jake's readiness to take on strong opponents. He notes that although Jake's journey has been difficult, his accomplishments are evidence of his dedication and fortitude, stressing that such audacious decisions are uncommon in the boxing world. Logan's viewpoint emphasizes the importance of Jake's achievements and the regard he has gained in the boxing world.
So everybody's been calling you out, Daniel Dubois, Ryan Garcia, all these people. Who's the most enticing to you?
Oh no, like, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all enticing to me.
9-year-old Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and it's another win for Jake Paul. He was greeted with boos post-fight after winning his 6th straight fight, calling out anyone and everyone requesting multiple title shots at a possible rematch with Tommy Fury. Jake claims he's just getting warmed up. This was just his 13th professional boxing fight. Back here with Brian Campbell, Danny Vitlani. BC, what did you see? What are your takeaways from this latest bout from Jake Paul?
It kind of depends on what we're judging him. If we're judging Jake Paul as a future cruiserweight title challenger, I'd have to say he has a long way to go. But going 10 rounds against a former champion, even if that former champion is a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was 39 years old and really 13 years or so removed from credibility in the ring, at least Jake had to go 10 hard rounds, which was an improvement from some of the 8-round fights he's had earlier. And he had to fight off a somewhat stiff challenge late from a Chavez who pretty much took the first 4 rounds off completely of this fight and really took a long time to heat up and finally get going. I don't mean to be a hater here, but you do have to judge with some knowledge compared to the rest of boxing. It's one thing to be the best celebrity fighter in the world. It's another thing to legitimately climb the ladder and fight for a cruiserweight world title.
My brother has an 11-1 boxing record. The one came from a guy by the name of Tommy Fury.
Yeah, watch that fight.
Jake, obviously, super hungry kid, wants to avenge that loss, but Tommy won't take the fight.
When I lost to Matt Serra, I was obsessed of revenge. So one of the sport psychologists, he made me take a brick and wrote the name Serra on it. So he made me carry a freaking brick in my training bag. Until that point, I couldn't take it anymore. He made me go to the Saint Laurent River and he made me throw the brick. When I did this, it kind of releases me. But my point is that it's awful and it must stink like fucking crazy. But you need to focus on the next task because that could be a big mistake.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They say it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's go fold. You going against Gervonta, Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's going to get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much. You was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont. This from the same camp. We from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up, because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that like got to step back from a situation. That's why I think he being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking. And that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning, like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you're going to start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't never seen Tank like this before. And Lamont, I see your mindset. You keep nagging about that win you should have got. Focus on the new fight. Stop talking about, I should have won. You know why? You know why he's feeling like that? Because that's like one in a lifetime. He feel like nobody got that close. I should have took the belt right there. Now I ain't gonna never get that shot again, because he know that boy Tank done buckled up, done cleaned up his mess, and he ready to go. And it's not the same. It's not the same Tank. You mean Tank? You done gave Tank enough time to think about who you are as a boxer and break you down. Yeah, he's cooked. Remember I told y'all what's gonna happen in August. He's cooked. And I feel like Tank, he walking him down. Like, yeah, watch this. I'm about to make an example, because Tank gonna want to be able to tell everybody to shh.